My name is Mark Reynolds, and today I'm telling you how the company I dedicated my life to let me go, and what I did after. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment sharing where you're watching from. Mark, after 18 years, your position is being eliminated, my manager said, voice flat. Please clear out your desk before the day's done. I'm 55. Until that Thursday, I worked as lead infrastructure architect at Summit Systems in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'd been with the company since it was just a small office in a tech hub. From the dial-up era to cloud networks, I kept things running. I stayed through 4 CEOs, mentoring every new tech hire, fixing problems, and working weekends without asking for applause. So, when Ethan Cross called me in, and I saw Tracy Hall from HR already there, I understood without needing to hear it. I nodded once. No protests, no scene, just quiet acceptance. At my station, I noticed younger staff glancing over, then looking away. Many of them I'd taught myself. They didn't understand the old systems I built or the hidden admin credentials buried deep in the network. I gathered my few personal things, a family trip photo, the wooden pen Sophie crafted for me, and a tiny bonsai that somehow survived the office lights. A marketing coworker stopped, looking upset. Mark, I just heard. This is insane. You held this place together. I shrugged. Companies change direction. But like this? No heads up after all you've done? It's fine, I said softly. It wasn't, but I wasn't about to create a scene. As I walked out, Ethan stood by his door. He didn't say goodbye, just watched to be sure I left. What none of them realized was I'd quietly become essential. Not because I was the smartest, but because I was thorough. Years ago, during a company shakeup, compliance asked me to build systems to monitor access. I kept records and backups safely stored at home. I paused by my car, glancing at the 14-floor tower I'd worked in for so long. The badge I'd just handed over had been renewed 16 times. I started the car, knowing that day wouldn't end as they'd planned. When I joined Summit, Sophie was just starting school. Now she was nearly done with graduate school. I'd turned down better offers because I believed in loyalty. Laura used to joke that the servers were my second family. She wasn't wrong. The systems I'd designed had outlasted mergers and leadership changes. Ethan had joined 5 years ago. All buzzwords like digital transformation and calling us resources. I tried to show him how much complexity lived in those systems. He talked modernization but barely listened. 6 months back, he brought in Ryan Mitchell, polished, loud, always bragging about his degree. They'd have secret talks in meeting rooms. Soon after, I saw my admin access slowly shrinking. I didn't complain. I took note. One night on the porch, Laura asked, "Is everything all right at work?" I sipped my drink. Just changes, I've seen it before. But deep down, I knew this time was different. I was cut from upgrade plans. Projects were handed off to others. Then I spotted a memo, a full restructure, with Ryan at the top. My job wasn't even listed. That same day, during one of the security scans nobody else bothered with, I noticed odd payments. Small at first, then steadily bigger, all to Novatech Services LLC. A quick check showed it tied to a mailbox at a shipping center. I didn't say a word. I saved the proof and kept watching. Often it's the person no one notices who sees the most, simply because no one expects it. The morning after they let me go, I sat quietly in my small home office, staring at my personal laptop. No alarm, no rush to beat traffic, just stillness and the weight of what had happened. Laura came in, set down a cup of coffee beside me, and didn't say a word. After 20 years together, she could tell I needed space. "I'm heading to the store. Need anything?" she asked softly after a while. I shook my head. When she left, I unlocked my desk drawer and pulled out one of the encrypted hard drives I kept safely tucked away. The company had strict policies about keeping data off-site, but long ago, When compliance asked me to build insider threat monitoring, I'd explained off-site backups were necessary. They agreed, and then forgot. I plugged in the drive and began reviewing files, internal emails, meeting records, items I shouldn't have had anymore. And there it was, a full record of transactions sent to Novatech Services, LLC. Around $1.8 million paid over 18 months. Each payment approved by Gregory Shaw, our CFO. I kept going, lining up dates and amounts. The payments matched software license renewals, but at inflated costs. Sometimes 15% higher, sometimes 20%. Just enough to slip past notice, but it added up fast. I checked who owned Novatech. Michael Shaw. A social media search confirmed it. Gregory's brother-in-law. They'd set up a shell company to quietly siphon money from Summit. I leaned back. I didn't feel angry, just focused. For 18 years, I'd kept the system safe, solved problems, and stayed steady while others came and went. And this was their thanks? My phone buzzed, a text from Tyler Bennett, the junior analyst I'd mentored. What they did yesterday was wrong. Total garbage. Mitchell's already moved into your old seat. I didn't reply. It all made sense now. Ethan and Gregory had pushed me out before anyone could connect the dots. They figured the evidence would disappear with me, like I was just some outdated tech guy who didn't get finance. I started drafting an email to the board, the Executive Governance Council, but I paused, too easy for them to brush it off as a bitter ex-employee's complaint. I deleted it. I needed a smarter plan. Tomorrow was Thursday, the board's quarterly meeting. The perfect chance. Financial reports, bonuses on the table. I closed my laptop and gazed out the window at the neighborhood where Laura and I had raised our kids. For the first time in days, I felt a small grin. The next morning, I parked across from Summit's offices, watching people go in. My laptop sat on the seat beside me, logged into an old secure test account I'd made years ago. It looked like an internal email, but wasn't in their official records. At 9:15, I sent my first move, a message to Ethan titled, "Urgent, Financial Review Needed." I kept it simple, highlighting the odd payments, but left out the family tie. If Ethan was in on it, he'd panic. If not, he'd dig. Either way, I'd learned something. By 9:45, my phone rang. Ethan. I let it go to voicemail. His message, "Mark, we need to talk about your email now. Call me." I didn't. Instead, I drove to a cafe, opened my laptop, and waited. At 10:30, I saw an email from Tracy Hall. "Mr. Reynolds, your contact may violate exit terms. Stop reaching out, or legal action may follow." Empty threats. I'd never signed any exit agreement. By noon, I visited the bank, opened my home vault's backup. Inside were older files, ones I hadn't used yet. Records showing system access and changes. Gregory had expanded his finance permissions 18 months back, right when the Novatech payments started. Back at home, I spotted 3 missed calls: Ethan, Tracy, and now Ryan Mitchell. Ryan jumping in so soon surprised me. That told me plenty. I checked my email. Tyler Bennett had sent a message marked urgent. "Mark, everyone's saying you sent some wild email about fraud. Mitchell called an emergency meeting. It's all over the office. They're cutting off your access, even old files. What's going on?" I kept my reply short. "Stay clear, Tyler. Just watch." Around 3 p.m., the home phone rang. A number I hadn't used for work in years. I answered, silent. "Mark, it's Gregory Shaw," said a calm voice. "Let's clear this up. I think you've misunderstood." "That what you're calling it?" I asked. "Transitions can be messy. If you've got questions, the council's the proper channel," I cut in. "No need. How about you and I meet?" "I'm busy," I said flatly. "Besides, I think the council will want to know about Novatech and your brother-in-law." The pause, the sharp breath, that said enough. "You're making a serious mistake," he said. We can settle this. Severance, great references, whatever you want. Goodbye, Greg. I hung up. Within 10 minutes, Tracy emailed. My severance doubled, with a confidentiality contract attached. They still thought I was after a payout. They had no idea what was coming. That night, I combed through years of files, seeing what I'd missed. Novatech wasn't Gregory's first trick. 3 years earlier, payments had started to Riverpoint Consulting, LLC, another shell. Same scam, padded invoices, little work done. That one, registered to Catherine Shaw, Greg's wife. No website, no employees, just a rented office box. The real shock came when I dug into old emails. Ethan hadn't just known, he'd helped. His reward, bigger budgets for his division, while others got cut. That's why they brought him in. The last director had started asking hard questions. Even Ryan wasn't clean. His firm got in through approvals that skipped the usual checks. His job wasn't tech upgrades, it was getting rid of me before I saw the fraud. The scheme worked because services were real, just way overpriced. Auditors missed it because they weren't looking for overcharges, just fake vendors. In 3 years, they'd drained nearly $4.3 million. I pulled everything together: numbers, records, links, emails. Then I called David Lang, a council member I'd worked with years back on security. "Mark Reynolds," he answered. "It's been a while. I heard you left Summit." "Not by choice," I said. "David, I need 15 minutes. It's big." This about why Greg and Ethan looked rattled yesterday? Could be. "You always did know where the bodies were. Where should we meet?" An hour later, we sat in a riverside park. I handed him a sealed packet, summary, and a drive. This is everything. Dates, payments, connections. I'm not after a job or money. Just the truth in the right hands. He studied me. "Why me?" "Because you read reports. You ask the tough questions." He nodded. "We've got a finance review tomorrow. Good timing. If this holds up, heads will roll. That's what I'm counting on." As I walked to my car, my phone buzzed. Laura's text. "Ryan Mitchell stopped by, said it was urgent. I told him you weren't here." They were desperate now. Good. That afternoon, offers rolled in. 3 firms, better roles, big bonuses. I ignored them. This wasn't about a job. It was about seeing this through. That night, using old credentials they'd forgotten to disable, I queued up one last email, set for 8 a.m. to every council member. Subject: "Before approving Q2 bonuses, please review this." Friday morning, I sat with my coffee, watching the sun come up. No alarm, no commute, just waiting. At 8 o'clock, my email went out. By 8:17, the calls started. Numbers I didn't know, probably assistants. I let them all go to voicemail. By 9 a.m., the emergency finance meeting began. David Lang sat quietly, my evidence in hand, watching as my email hit their inboxes and the storm started. By 9:32, Tyler texted, "Police just arrived. Greg and Ethan are being questioned separately. Mitchell looks like he's seen a ghost. What did you do?" I didn't respond. Everything was falling into place as I'd expected. At 10 o'clock, Summit's legal head called. I picked up this time. "Mr. Reynolds, Susan Burke from legal. We need you here right away about your report." "I'm fine talking on the phone," I said calmly. "This is better handled in person." "No, it's not," I replied. "You have my report. It's backed up off-site. If anything happens to me or my family, the SEC, IRS, and media will all get copies." There was a pause. Then, carefully, "The board takes this seriously. Key execs are on leave. They'd appreciate your cooperation. I've done what's needed. They have the facts." After the call, I drove to a quiet diner well outside the city. No need to be easy to find. During lunch, headlines started appearing online. Summit executives under investigation for financial wrongdoing. Names weren't out yet, but I knew they would be. Later, David called. It's a mess, he said. Greg cracked once we showed him your files. He's blaming Ethan. Ethan's denying it. Mitchell's acting clueless. No one's buying it. All three are suspended. Forensic accountants come Monday. Looks like at least $4.5 million stolen, maybe more. I gave a quiet nod. Matched my guess. The council wants to meet. They're offering more than your old role. A new position. Executive Cyber Risk Director. Reporting straight to us. I'd considered they might. I'll think about it. That evening, I told Laura everything. She listened, then asked, "So, will you go back?" A fair question. The ones who pushed me out were now facing the consequences. But going back meant returning to a company that threw me aside. I need time to decide, I said. Later, I updated my LinkedIn. Just one line. Sometimes you don't have to break the system. It collapses on its own. Messages poured in. People knew. The quiet guy had taken down the top brass without raising his voice. Monday, I walked into Summit's building in a suit I hadn't worn in years. The guard blinked, then handed me a visitor badge. "Welcome back, Mr. Reynolds." The elevator ride up felt different. I'd never been to this floor before. Now they were waiting. In the room, 10 council members sat. David gave me a small nod. The interim CEO, looking tense, spoke first. "Mr. Reynolds, thank you for coming. What you exposed, it's bigger than we imagined. $5.2 million gone. Charges are in motion." I stayed quiet. David continued, "We've created a new executive role, Executive Cyber Risk Director. Reports to us. We want you in it." I placed a leather folder on the table. "My terms are in there. Non-negotiable." She opened it, brows rising. Full audit rights. Tech budget veto power. "This is unusual," she said. "So was stealing millions," I answered. "No one was watching. Now someone will." The room fell silent. "You have until noon," I added. "I have other offers." As I left, David asked, "Did you plan this from the start?" I paused. I didn't plan to be fired. Everything after that, just doing my job, spotting gaps, closing them. By 11:47 they called. They agreed to everything. 6 months later, I sat in my corner office overlooking the Charlotte skyline, a reminder of how far things had come. Greg pleaded out, making a deal. Ethan kept fighting. Ryan had fled overseas, but they were bringing him back. Most of the stolen funds were recovered. The company survived. My team now reported to me. I'd promoted Tyler. He had promise. Just needed someone who saw it. A knock. Laura smiled. "Lunch?" I grabbed my jacket. As we walked through the office, conversations quieted. Not fear, but respect. They knew I could have let the company sink. I didn't. In the elevator, she squeezed my hand. The anger was gone. What stayed was closure. "I'm good," I said. The September sun felt warm as we walked. My phone buzzed. David's message, "Budget increase approved. Unanimous," Laura noticed. "What is it?" "Nothing," I said, pocketing my phone. "Just thinking. Some bridges fall, but when you rebuild them, sometimes they're stronger than before."